Welcome to the Food Bank of the Southern Tiers TEFAP Recipient Agency Audit Training. Today's training will cover what to expect when the Office of General Services comes out to conduct an audit or an on-site visit of your partner agency. The Office of General Services, otherwise known as OGS, is tasked with overseeing the TEFAP program, which is the Emergency Food Assistance Program on behalf of the United States Department of Agriculture, otherwise known as the USDA. What to expect from today's training is a review of our recipient agencies, and then we'll talk a little bit about the auditing process with our recipient agencies on behalf of OGS, what those auditing checklists look like, any post-audit actions that might take place, and of course, give you all an opportunity to think about some questions to provide back to the food bank for clarification. Onto the recipient agency. New York State is comprised of 10 food banks throughout the state, and the Office of General Services oversees all 10 of them and their recipient agencies. The Office of General Services is mandated by the USDA to conduct at least 20 annual reviews of recipient agencies throughout the state. They typically try to schedule a week or so in advance, and the timing definitely depends on what their current travel schedule is looking like. They're going to come out and focus on your documentation that is required, any record keeping that is required, and they will also conduct a food safety compliance facility review. OGS will also ask about the agency's ordering and delivery experience with the food bank. They'll ask about overall satisfaction with the food bank, and are there any ongoing issues? Are there any products that you are not able to receive from the food bank, or are there any personnel conflicts that should be addressed? This is an audit performed to ensure that education and training of food bank partners is taking place at the agency level. So this is more of an audit to ensure that we, as the food bank, are conducting the proper education and training to all of our recipient agencies so that you are aware of what is expected and you are prepared. Process. There is a pre-audit, the actual on-site audit, and then the post-audit. Let's go ahead and dive into what that pre-audit actually looks like. As a recipient agency of the TEFAP program, you can expect to receive a phone call or an email from the Office of General Services, and it's typically going to be Tracy who is responsible for scheduling all of the site visits on behalf of that office. She will set up the review with your agency based on the travel plans of the participants who will be, or the staff that will be conducting the audits. They'll give you a call and see if you're actually open at the time that they're going to be coming through. They're actually going to be reviewing what we provide them on a spreadsheet as the current hours of operation and confirm that that is exactly when you are open. They will then follow up with an email to schedule with a date and time range and what exactly they are looking for. So this will include things like your agreement, your signed agreement with the food bank to distribute TEFAP product. This is not your contract with the food bank that you do during renewal. This is that Appendix A contract that veteran partners of the food bank signed back in August of 2023, and any new agency after that signed it upon becoming a partner with the food bank. Along with that, they're going to look for your proof of tax exempt status. This is your 501c3. And if you recall, a couple of years ago, we requested in your annual renewal that you submit your proof of 501c3 umbrella agency. We took that document and we also took your Appendix A, your TEFAP contract, and we uploaded it to your grants management account. So if you were to log into your grants management account, it would be under your Documents tab. We have it there for this purpose in case you do have a site visit from the Office of General Services. They will also be coming out to review your client attestation forms to ensure that you are holding on to those for 3 years plus the current year. If you are on Fresh Track, please make sure that you are aware of how to pull that report so that your list of attestations are available for the OGS staff. If you are not on Fresh Track and still use paper copies, make sure that you have 3 years plus the current year on site for them to review. If you are on Fresh Track, the question has come up in the past, what do you do if the power is out? Please have a set of blank attestation forms, paper forms on site so that you can let them know that you do have the attestations in case Fresh Track isn't working, so that you can still be compliant with the proper documentation. Ensure that you have 3 years plus the current year's worth of signed invoices of your deliveries from the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. These should be kept on site at the pantry. And if you are knowing that they're coming out, try to get these documents and things that they're going to be reviewing ready ahead of time. You can put them all into a binder and have it prepared for when they come out. There is only one documentation that has to be posted. It used to be that you had to have the client Bill of Rights posted and the program Bill of Rights posted. That is no longer a requirement of the Office of General Services. We as the food bank still see value in those documents and still encourage you to have those posted because that language is also in our contract with you. However, the only thing that you need to actually have posted where clients can see it is that large and Justice for All poster. Take a look around. If you don't have one, let your Programs and Partnerships Coordinator know, and we will get one out to you. I know we just went over a bunch of the documentation that is going to be required, but let's take another look at it once again. All right, let's review. So the Office of General Services will need to see the following documentation. That agreement between the food bank and the recipient agency. Again, not your contract with us, with the food bank during renewals. This is your Appendix A, and it's going to be on your grants management site under your Documents tab. Your 501c3 letter from the IRS will also be there at your fingertips for them. The documents that you need to have retained 3 years plus the current years for your records that they're going to be reviewing is your annual intake forms. These are the attestations for completion. There is a report in Fresh Track that you can connect with Catherine Miller and Terry to see if you're not familiar with how to run that report so that you can have that information at your fingertips for when OGS comes out. You will also need to have blank copies in case there's a power outage. So please keep that in mind. Invoices. These are also known as the bill of lading in your TEFAP agreement. These are your invoices from the food bank that you sign upon delivery that shows that you have received the USDA foods, the TEFAP product. Any volunteer or staff that comes in contact with a client must complete the annual civil rights training. and you have to hold on to a log showing that that has been conducted. It's just a sheet of paper that has each volunteer or staff's name and the date that they completed their training. Again, has to be done annually. We now have provided a recording of the civil rights training. Twice a year it is offered live via Zoom. There is the printed slide deck for review up on one's own time in writing on paper. There will be an in-person TEFAP civil rights training at the Food Bank of the Southern Tier in July every year going forward. So we have all these various ways to consume this information and to have these trainings conducted annually for all your volunteers and staff that are required to have it done. So please ensure that you are tracking that on the signing sheet. OGS is also going to look for completed pest control logs. Whether you use a professional such as Ehrlich or you conduct your own pest control review of your facilities. What that could look like is simply a stack of paper saying no findings or your invoices from your professional pest control company. If you do not currently have a pest control company coming in and you rely on your own observations, it does have to be documented. If you do not currently have a form to document this with, please reach out to the food bank. We do have a wonderful template that is approved for use, and we can share that out for you. And just to drive this home, that tax exempt status, that 501c3 documentation, the letter from the IRS stating that your agency is eligible for tax exempt status is on your grants management site under your documents tab. They will look for this. Confirm that you have the Justice for All poster visible for any client coming in. And if for any chance that you have program flyers or you post on social media or your website that you have USDA Foods TEFAP product, you must ensure that you have a non-discrimination statement with that advertisement. If you don't, no worries, but if you are promoting the fact that there is USDA Foods, that non-discrimination statement must be present with that promotion. And since you do have to have a non-discrimination statement on site for clients, guess what? It's already embedded in the Justice for All poster. Make sure that you have that posted and you are good to go. All right, so that was the pre-audit. Let's get on to the on-site review. On the day of your visit from the Office of General Services, folks will show up, and it's typically around 30 to 45 minutes that they are there at your site conducting the actual review process. Oftentimes they do run a little bit late, so give them some grace period because they are traveling throughout New York State. They will come and perform a facility walkthrough and ask a bunch of questions. Half of the questions have to do with compliance around food safety and your facility. The other half have to do with how is everything going? Very similar to how the food bank conducts their site visit. Let's go ahead and actually look at the site visit forms that the Office of General Services uses during these review processes. Like I said, there are two different types of forms. This first form is actually the softer side of things. This is asking, like, how is everything going? They're going to ask to see that list of completed civil rights trainings. They're going to ask to see your signed attestations. They're going to ask to see your Appendix A, your contract to receive TEFAP product and distribute it. They're going to ask to see that 501c3. They're going to ask about how is your relationship going with us. They're going to want to see 5 client files, up to 5 client files. So randomly pick 5 families. They don't really care what the families' names are or where they're at, but they want to make sure that you are able to obtain the right information. And these can be right from your attestations. They want to know, like, what products are you not able to get from us here at the food bank? They really do want to understand more about our relationship. And are there any questions and things of that nature? They're double checking that all of the civil rights training is done. They're looking for that poster. There are a lot of questions, but as you can see, they are really simple. You're either in compliance, not in compliance, or they're going to fix it on site, or it's not applicable. Always looking for record retention, 3 years plus the current year, and all of the documentation. Once they have completed this section of the review, they're going to list out any findings, hopefully share that out with you in real time, any comments, questions, concerns, and you will sign off on it, just like you do with the food bank. The second form is really that facility review form. Very similar, like I said, to when a food bank staff comes out and does their biennial site visit. We are looking for food safety. Is product 6 inches off the floor, 4 inches away from the wall? Is it first in, first out? Is it pest free? All of these things. It's very similar to what you experience with a food bank site visit. It either is or it isn't. There might be some questions around, do you have enough capacity storage for the products that you are trying to distribute? They're going to ask those types of questions. Again, they're not coming out as a big brother. They're not coming out looking to find things wrong. They're coming out ensuring that we, the food bank, are conducting proper education and training to all of you so that you are running a program that is 100% food safe, client safe, civil rights focused, and on the up and up. Okay, so we've gone through the pre-audit phase. We've gone through the on-site audit where they're coming out and reviewing your facility. Now let's get on to what happens after they leave. The Food Bank of the Southern Tier will receive a letter with or without findings. What are findings? Findings are areas that should be corrected that are not currently in compliance. It could be as simple as the civil rights poster is actually the old version with the Statue of Liberty and not the new version. It could be that an agency is on Fresh Track, but they don't have any paper attestations in the case that the electricity goes out. It could be a little bit more concerning if there's been no evidence of civil rights training, if there is evidence of pest and critters having their way in your storage area. It could be the case where they actually witnessed a negative interaction between volunteers and clients. It could be anything within those bounds. So the Food Bank of the Southern Tier will work with the agency to correct any findings that are reported. Ultimately, it is our responsibility for any findings, our as in the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. These audits, while conducted at your agency's site and location, they're actually an audit of the food bank. If there are findings, this is our failing, not necessarily the agency's. And so we are responsible for making sure that these are corrected. If there are findings, the food bank does have to provide a corrective action plan by the close of business 30 days out. Once all of the corrective um, actions have been completed and the agency is no longer out of compliance and is in good standing, the file at OGS will be closed. It's very straightforward. Hopefully this has removed some of the uncertainty and the veil of mystery around the oversight of the Office of General Services and why they come out on occasion to some of the locations. If for some reason you get notified from the Office of General Services and are expecting a site visit from them, go ahead and let us know. They don't typically let us know ahead of time because they're going to contact the recipient agency directly. We can help make sure that you are ready to go for when they do come out by double checking that you have all of the requirements that you need to provide them for documentation and record retention, and that you know where all of your I's are dotted and all of your T's are crossed. And I really want to leave everyone with the understanding that we are here, if there are any findings, to help correct those, to help move past them, and just to ensure that your program is better, our program is better coming out of these situations. If there are any questions, feel free to share them with your PPC, bring them up at a coalition meeting, reach out directly to the food bank, however you choose, to glean and gain clarity. And thank you once again, and stay tuned for our next training.